Man, I gotta tell you, this movie was Welcome to the Sanctuary. My name is Brendan Aries. Now let's talk movie. And this week, this feels surreal to think, wow, the Fantastic Four are finally in the MCU. I mean, hell, every time that the MCU expands, I always feel like this shock and awe. Like, I can't believe that they're actually here now. I still will not forget being in high school and watching that trailer for Civil War and seeing Spider-Man join the Avengers. Like, what? And the same feeling has struck again with the Fantastic Four. It feels like such a long time coming of like fantasy of, can we get the Fantastic Four with the Avengers? And it looks like the time is here. This film feels like a family film and not like the whole PG whatever. It's more so that for the first family for Marvel, this is a big deal, and you feel the warmth and deep connection that each and every member of the Fantastic Four has with each other. Even with the people on Earth, they're loved, they're a little more established, a little more favored than the usual heroes that we have on the MCU 616. I don't think I can catch that. I love how good this team is. The chemistry, the banter, the nicknames, it all feels so natural. It feels like a natural, put together family. And why don't we start with the smartest guy, the stretchiest man, Mr. Fantastic, Pedro Pascal. As weary as I was for his performance, blew my expectations, and he actually did a solid job.
I don't really like him because I couldn't stand how he talked. Like, I just didn't care for him.
Excuse me, sir.
It's time to go back to the material.
I don't know if you know this, but when Reed talks, you're not really supposed to like what he says. He's very blunt and he's very logical. He's a turbulent logician. Where have I heard that before? Sue Storm, played by Vanessa Kirby, was a solid anchor for Mr. Fantastic, even dealing with a pregnancy, an upcoming child. And she's still doing her best to keep the world together, to keep them united, to keep them strong. They showed that she is perfectly capable, even just on her own. She doesn't need the team to show how much of an asset that she really is to this team. I may ruffle some feathers, I don't care, but I kind of dig this Johnny. I know everybody's expecting the super confident, super rizzy playa, but I like that they made it a little more subtle. They made him a little bit awkward and kind of confident in the ways that he feels like it counts. We know Johnny can be kind of hot-headed and a little impulsive, just flames on to the next thing. But here, I felt like they gave him a purpose behind that, and it bounced off really well among the other characters here. The Thing, played by Eben, was unexpected, but I still liked it a lot. And I think that's because of just recently watching The Bear. I'm on season 3, by the way. Kind of get the mannerisms of the character and how well it meshes to The Thing. And speaking of The Thing, I gotta go into the CGI because there were so many times where The Thing seemed like he was just naturally there with the rest of the team. And you want that from this type of big budget film. And with the CGI, I gotta talk about the two other characters. And that's the female Silver Surfer and the Devourer of Worlds, Galactus. My gosh. It was nice to see a new take on Silver Surfer. I thought they did a tremendous job. I think that's a very bold thing to do, but I think they crushed it. Then, when you have Galactus. Now, Galactus, I have dreamed ever since I was maybe 3 or 4 years old, opening my first comic. I dreamed of seeing Galactus in a film, and man, oh man, this is amazing. They even got him down to his comic accurate like suit. He's a big dog. They really delivered here for Galactus. He needs to be introduced with the Fantastic Four. Let's be real. I think if you have a story that involves Galactus, you can't have it without the Fantastic Four. Because this film takes place in the 60s, they have a very different aesthetic from, let's say, the previous film, Thunderbolts. Obviously, things are going to be a little older, a little more on the retro, and I think it adds such a nice, refreshing, for lack of a better word, dazzle to this franchise and to this film. I think that with the task at hand that the Fantastic Four has, it really brings a certain tone. And when I'm talking about tone, I mean, it almost makes you question where this movie takes place. Not when or where in the movie, but where in the timeline. Because the way I saw it, if you told me that this film came out in the other Phase 1 films like Captain America First Avenger, Iron Man 2, and Thor, honestly, I'd be convinced. To me, it felt like it brought back and restored certain feelings of nostalgia and feelings that a pace was getting to a certain build that was going to pay off. I felt like this was a right investment to the MCU. And the other thing was, they weren't so in your face about Easter eggs and cameos. I really enjoyed the subtlety again because it leaves the viewer, the audience, to kind of pay closer attention, but still enjoy the story, because I feel like sometimes you can really only do one or the other. If I'm in the middle of a fight scene and my buddy goes, "Hey, guess what? How many cameos do you think we're gonna find just in this fight scene?" I'm telling bro, I'm watching the movie. It's nice to have those little attention to detail moments, but at the same time, I want to be reminded why I'm here. Not just for this fan service, not just for the cameos, but for the story. And I'll say it again, this story was phenomenal. This direction is the direction that I want Marvel to use going forward. I feel like after Thunderbolts and after Fantastic Four, whatever comes next prior to Doomsday as well as after, I feel like you just have to keep on cooking. You got two in the grill right now, and they're cooking pretty dang good. But if you put a third and it ain't slapping, and then you put a fourth and it ain't to the same hype or potential, you're in trouble, pal. I don't think Marvel is in that much of a position anymore where they can take those big risks. I think they also have to pivot and preserve what we can do moving forward in the MCU. They already had the Kang pivot, which pivoted a lot of other things behind it. The time for risks is not here. Fantastic Four: The First Steps restored the feeling of wanting to see a Marvel movie again. And there was a good stretch where I didn't really feel like watching these movies over again. I felt like just for the sake of being connected to the MCU, one watch, good, on to the next. But here I'm like, nah, I want to pay more attention to this detail. That's the feeling that I love when it comes to movies. If I want to see it again, good freaking job, man. Head to your movie theater, stretch out on the chair, and go see Fantastic Four: The First Steps. And let me know your thoughts down below. And in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Peace.